If you are interested in learning about my adventures in Asia, this video is for you. Before we get into it, I always want to take the chance to thank everyone that has subscribed. We are so close to 800 subscribers. Y'all are doing what needs to be done. And I want you to know I appreciate every single person that has clicked the subscribe button. You all have been enjoying my content. You are my reason for continuing to post videos. So thank you. And I love the community that we have created and the conversations that we have. So with that, I am Dr. Maya, and this is Fly Like Me, PhD. I encourage Black women to move or to live abroad. I want you all to know that I have traveled to 45 countries and I have lived in 6. And hopefully next month I will be aging and I hope to enter country 46, which would be Bolivia. It would be an honor to be in country 46. So what I need y'all to know is that I have wanted to go to Asia for so long. As you know, I've traveled to so many countries, and there was a point where I was like, I have not been to a single country in Asia. I would love to see China. I was interested in seeing India. Especially probably because we have a lot of media that talks about India, specifically like looking at Bollywood and the movies that they have to offer, as well as at my university, I had friends from India, as well as I've had friends from China. And so I just really always wanted to know what that culture was like and wanted to experience it. So I had the honor of being able to travel there in 2015 and 2016 and 2017. So I am going to tell you all about those adventures. I want you to know that one of the things that kind of held me back from traveling to Asia for so long was the fact that I didn't speak the language. And what I want to say to you all is do not let not speaking a language hold you back from traveling to a country. Do not let not speaking a language hold you back from traveling to a country. You have some options. Number one, you could get a tour. You can reserve a tour where English is spoken on that tour. You know, there's various tour options. You can choose one where they're actually speaking English. Number two, you can get a cultural ambassador. So what I did was I knew someone from China. I had a Chinese friend, and she was the one that traveled with me to China. Number three, you can always make sure that you are learning a little bit about the language. Just have some introductory words, having a translator on your phone. I know a lot of people that do that. And because we do speak English, sometimes people will be able to speak English to you. So when I was abroad in China and in India, in Thailand, in Malaysia, and Singapore, I was able to find some people that spoke English. So just want you all to know that that does not have to be a deal breaker for you if you don't speak the language. But remember, being respectful always when we're going abroad and not expecting that people will speak English all the time. So I had the pleasure of traveling to India in 2015. This was my first introduction to Asia. I had a friend that had a brother who was getting married, and so she invited me and some other friends to be a part of the wedding. I was honored to go there, and the wedding was in Bangalore, which is more in the south of India. That's where it was held. One of the things I love to do is take pictures when I'm in the airport. I'm like, we made it, so I definitely took some pictures. And one thing that you need to know about Indian weddings is that this is a day to day ordeal. There are various days that celebrations are occurring. This is not just a one day wedding and we're done. there are a lot of ceremonies that lead up to the actual wedding, which I thought was really incredible. So my friends and I went to India around December, kind of around Christmas time. What I want you to know also is that the following year we went to Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore around the same time, kind of Christmas time. So Christmas time is an ideal time to travel because a lot of people in the US get that time off. They get Christmas off, or maybe they have New Year's off, maybe they get a few days in between, or they're able to take more days off at that time. There can be advantages and disadvantages to both. One is some people really do want to spend Christmas with their family, but if you're okay with being like, family, I'll see you next year, then you could be able to travel abroad with some of your friends who also might be available during Christmas time. So for the activities when we were in India, one of the days we had henna, and the henna was absolutely incredible. I had a woman that was working on my henna, and she was just so dedicated and so diligent, and the time that it took, the intricacies within the details of the henna were fascinating, and I really enjoyed that. I felt that they did a really great job with the henna, and I just love henna in general. I feel that is a very creative and incredible form of art expression. In addition to that, the bride actually got henna all over her body, all the way down to the feet. Henna is very important. There's a whole ceremony for that. And we also were offered some bracelets after we were done receiving the henna. So she was covered in henna almost head to toe, and I just feel like henna is just very cultural and just a really great way of seeing artistic expression. So another day we had to learn a dance to do for the bride and the groom. And this was very common for people that were friends or family members. We had to dance for the bride and the groom. So kind of like during the reception where we were eating before the wedding, it was kind of like a reception before the wedding. I know in the US, we normally have a wedding and then a reception after, but this was kind of like the reception before. We were dancing, eating, having a good time, and we had to do performances for the bride and groom. So me and my friends all had a routine that we did for them. Even the groom had to dance as well, was a little nervous about dancing, but he still did it. His family was a part of the dance. So I just thought that was really incredible that all of us were incorporated in dancing for the wedding for them, including them doing a dance as well. I had never seen anything like that. It was unexpected, but I thought it was really cool, and it shows you the value of dancing within the culture. So on another day, we were dressed in the traditional garb, and I felt like I looked so cute that day. I was so happy with how my outfit came out. I was in purple, and I think purple is just an incredible, rich, sophisticated, poised color. So I was really loving how I was looking on the big day. And we were outdoors. We ate some really good food. And one of the biggest takeaways that I have from the wedding, this was actually the day of the wedding, was that they really had to give respect to the elders. So I know sometimes in some countries, we put the elders into nursing homes. We're not really concerned about the elders. But in some countries, the elder is the most important person. This is the wisest person. This is who we go for permission and to make sure that the elders are approving of how we're moving forward. And so what they did was they bowed down to the elders. It was specifically to the grandparents. And at one point, I think that they were touching their feet or just really connecting with the elders and asking for permission or a blessing for the wedding. And I thought that was a really nice way to end the entire wedding, and really a way to show how significant the elders were in that culture. So overall, I really want to thank the friend that invited me to India for that wedding. I think Indian weddings are incredible. Dressing, outfits, amazing. Okay, food is good. And I would highly recommend, if you get the opportunity or if you are invited to go to an Indian wedding, It was a whole experience that I was unprepared for and serendipitous. I absolutely loved it. So, yes, thanks again for allowing me to go to that wedding, and congrats to your brother and his wife. So if you are enjoying this video, per usual, I'm going to need you to like it right now. We're going to get into some more countries in Asia, but before we get that, hit that like button. So now I'm going to tell you all about my time in China. I went to China in 2016. I mentioned to you that I went with a friend that is Chinese. We were in Beijing, and y'all know I love a good door. I'm always taking pictures of doors. I don't know why I'd be fascinated by doors, but this was no different. So I took a picture with a door that I thought was cute. So what I want y'all to do, help me out. If you know what this door says, please leave it in the comments. It could say, don't stand by this door. Don't touch this door. Wouldn't even know, but this is the door that I took a picture by. So leave in the comments if you know what this door says. So back in the day, y'all, I did eat meat. I wasn't always vegetarian or vegan. I became vegetarian vegan in 2018. The reason that I embrace both identities is because depending on where I am, sometimes there are more or less vegan options. So if there are not a lot of vegan options, I'm okay with just being vegetarian. But before that, in 2016, I was not, and I ate everything. And so I had the experience of eating duck in China, as well as eating chicken feet in China. And what I want y'all to know is you can't go wrong with Chinese food, authentic, from the space Chinese food. There was not a meal I could tell you was not good. I mean, even the chicken feet, I was like, what? But it was good. You want to eat the food in China. If you're a foodie, China is an ideal place for you to go, to be. That food is good. Okay, this is not greasy American Chinese food. This is from the actual country. You need to be in China and taste that food. So I also was able to see where Chairman Mao was laid to rest and saw the emperor's residence while I was there. There are some places abroad or across the world where people really try to prolong the legacy of a person. And so they will have the body of the person and trying to have it preserved. Then my friend and I, we woke up very early in the morning, and she informed me that the soldiers will raise the flag every morning. So we saw the soldiers standing at attention as they raised the flag from the bottom all the way to the top of the flagpole. There were a lot of people that were there watching this take place, and we were included. What I need y'all to know about China is it is a crowded place. We know that it is densely populated. It has some of the most people in the world, is going to be found in Asia. So what you need to know is that there are people wall to wall, the subway, super crowded, the events, when you're just walking around, there are people everywhere. You need to know this about China. If you don't like a lot of crowds, this place is not going to be for you, because there are a lot of people in China wall to wall. And it was no different. Whenever we went to an event, a ceremony, there were lots of people around. Last, we were able to see the Great Wall of China, very significant, very well known in China. It's a very long wall, so it will be difficult to see the entire wall, but we stayed on one portion of it and took a lot of pictures at the Great Wall. I felt this was very captivating scenery, the architecture at which they were able to put all of this together to create the Great Wall, how long it took people to make the Great Wall. I just thought that it was really incredible piece of artwork or a piece of architecture that is still there. And just so that you know, there are some forts, there are some walls that have been built to protect the people of a particular city from invaders. And so definitely looking up the information more about the Great Wall, who built the Great Wall, because we know sometimes people's labor is exploited. So we need to know that, and why they have the Great Wall today. But I was able to see it and to take lots of pictures. So now I want to tell you all about my experiences traveling to Thailand, to Malaysia, and to Singapore in 2017 with some friends. We stayed there for about 2 weeks, and it was about approximately 4 days for each of the visits that we were there. If you are interested in traveling to any of these countries, I would recommend that you travel to all three. There is no visa required for Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, or during the time I went in 2017. That could change at any day, time, place. Okay, in 2017, it wasn't required, but I was required to get a visa for China, and I was required to get a visa for India. Just so you know, at that time, the Chinese visa lasted me 10 years. And I was like, that's amazing. So if you wanted to go back to China on that same visa, you could. So visa required for India, visa required for China. No visa was required at the time for Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore. So these are very connected to each other. They're very close to each other. That's why I'm saying if you're going to go to one, maybe you can try to go to all three. We flew into Thailand. From Thailand, we flew into Malaysia, but from Malaysia, we were able to take a bus to Singapore. That was about 5 hours. So it was incredible. Remember, I told you that we went during Christmas time. So we celebrated the new year in Singapore. So I enjoyed Thailand the most because I felt like the people were really warm and I really liked the culture. I also am very biased because I love Thai food. Anybody that knows me knows if I'm living in Washington, if I'm living in California, if I'm visiting my family in Michigan, if I'm going to see a friend in Kansas, I'm going to find some Thai food. Okay, also being a vegetarian, we know that Thai food gonna always have you with them veggies and gonna have you on a seasoning. So I was loving Thailand, the fact that I could eat Thai food all the time, every single day. And I remember the fried pineapple rice, like literally having the pineapple that had all the rice inside of it, ate that multiple times. It was so good. So at one point, I was on a boat in Thailand, and when I was on that boat, I was able to see the scenery, and we were able to sail across the water, really look around at the scenery, and people will roll up on a different boat and be like, here's a souvenir, here's some food. Of course, they charge for these things, but I was like, wow, this is just a real thing. Like a person would just roll up on you on the boat, but that was pretty cool. I also really liked our accommodations. At one point, we were in a hut that was out in nature. And so we were able to walk outside of the hut and see the trees. We were able to see the sun, and it was just nice. I really like to be connected to nature, so that mattered a lot to me. And the accommodations I had in Thailand were some of my favorite accommodations during this trip. They also have coconuts on deck if you like coconuts. I'm not a big fan of coconuts. However, the coconut was really fresh. You could get a coconut every day. It was really good, and it's going to be on the menu. They're going to cut that coconut for you, and you can drink it right then and there. My fondest memory of being in Thailand was riding the elephant. So when I was in India, I wanted to ride an elephant and I wasn't able to. And then when I got to Thailand, I finally got the chance to ride the elephant. I thought it was a really great experience. The elephants were so calm. They allowed us to travel on them. I know that we can't necessarily talk to animals, but I just want to really recognize, I know that animals globally can be mistreated. There's a lot of us that are out there trying to advocate for the rights of animals. And I am just thankful to the animals that allowed me to ride them, that allowed me to connect with them. I had a good experience. And moving forward, maybe actually I want to reconsider, always jumping on an animal who didn't give permission to be there. I have rode a camel before. That was my experience when I was in Morocco. I rode an elephant when I was in Thailand, and I also rode a horse when I was in, what country was I in when I rode that horse? Oh, when I was in Ecuador, I was riding a horse. So I just wanted to take the time to just really recognize those animals and them being okay with taking me around at the time. So at one point in our trip to Thailand, we were in Bangkok, and that was specifically when we were riding on that boat. Next, we were in Malaysia, specifically in Kuala Lumpur, and we had a really good time in Malaysia. As I told you, love to take my airport shot. This was going to be no different. When we were in the airport, I was like, let me get my picture by the sign and let people know that I made it. That's what I tend to do. I take a picture in the airport just so that I can let my friends and family know that I have made it safely to a place. So we also saw a lot of tall buildings in Malaysia, and I felt very connected with the Malaysian people who are called Malay people or Malay. And just having conversations with them was really nice, and learned a lot from the taxi driver that took us around when we first arrived. So across the world, you will see that there are signs like I love New York, I love Valledupar, which is a place in Colombia that I told you all about that I've lived in. We were able to see the I love KL or Kuala Lumpur statue as well. There were a lot of people waiting to take pictures with it, but we got our chance to finally get in there and also be able to see that sign. The sign looked really nice. I was able to stand by it. This was back when I was at UT Austin getting my master's, so I'm glad I had the opportunity when we had Christmas break to be able to go abroad, and I really enjoyed being able to see that picture and recognize how so many places across the world have that I love sign that you can check out. We also walked around. We took pictures of the scenery. As I mentioned, just looking at the buildings was really nice. And at one point we went into like a religious temple, and we had on shorts, and they had us have an entire outfit from a hood to a whole like dress that went and covered our entire ankles. So remembering that depending on where you are abroad, wanting to follow the customs of the place, sometimes they want you to be fully covered. Sometimes even shorts is not appropriate. So making sure that you understand the religion of the place when you are specifically in a place. So when we were in Malaysia, that is what we didn't realize, was that it was a more religious place. We didn't see a lot of people walking around in shorts. And if we could have done it differently, we would have packed different clothes. Finally, I visited Singapore, and Singapore was a sight to see. There was a room full of crystals that I took a picture by, and I was like all posing like a silhouette situation, and I just really enjoyed it. And one of the popular things to see in Singapore is going to Marina Bay Sands, and this is a hotel, but the hotel has a boat on top of it. And so it was just captivating to see that. I took a picture of it. Even though I didn't go inside of the hotel, what you all need to know is this is a very popular thing that people see in Singapore. And then we walked around and we saw what I would describe as trees with extended branches. Singapore is a place that has a lot of digital things going on, has a lot of tech going on. So it's like a technical tree, like maybe has some wires, but it was like pretty cool to see that. And the final thing was, while I was in Singapore, I took a picture by the river. So again, I would highly recommend that you travel to Thailand, to Malaysia, and Singapore. If you have the opportunity, you can see the difference between the three countries, even though they are very close to each other. You can see the difference. Also, one of the things that was a little shocking is like not being able to read things in Thai. But like I told you, the people were super sweet. So even if you can't read things, people can be very helpful and open to helping you with that. Now, in terms of India and China, y'all know I'm a colorism scholar, and India has some issues related to colorism. So I don't know always if I would recommend that as a place for Black people always. And then in terms of China, there's a fetishization of Black people rather than respect. So I don't always recommend China, but I would recommend Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore for sure. So that is going to conclude our video for today. Hope that you all learned a little bit more about my adventures in Asia. So in the comments, let me know if you have visited China, if you've been to India, Thailand, Malaysia, or Singapore. And if you've been to any of these countries, please let me know what your experience was like in those countries in the description box. And also, people that have been there more recently, is it still true that you need a visa for India and China? And do you not need a visa for Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore? Let us know if there's been an update on that as well. So I want to tell you all about our next video. I don't know if you noticed, but now we are moving into an Asia series where we're really focusing on people who have traveled to Asia. Our next video is going to be next Friday, August the 1st. We're starting off my birthday month, y'all, August the 1st, with a live, and I hope to see you there. This is going to take place at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. 6:30 p.m. Eastern and 4:30 p.m. Central. Okay? 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Central is going to be the live that we're having on Friday, August 1st. So we have Dr. Davia that will be talking to us about her move to Thailand. She will be moving to Thailand in August, y'all, like August 5th. And she was kind enough to get on our channel the first day of August to tell y'all about her move to Thailand. You'll be able to ask her questions about her move, find out what it's like to move to another country, find out what it's like to move to an Asian country. She also has been to Malaysia, so we will be discussing her experience in Malaysia too. So please tune in next Friday to see that. I will be posting information about that live next week. So definitely check out on my channel. You'll see more information about that live with her. And then after that, we're going to have another guest that is going to come on and tell us about Korea and tell us about Japan. And then we'll have another guest that will tell us about her experience in China. She was there for 10 days. So if you're really interested in thinking about traveling to Asian countries, you're thinking about moving to Asian countries, then I have some really great guests. I'll have 3 upcoming guests for you to tell you all about our experiences in Asia. And I'll also share some of my experiences too. So I hope that I can see you then. I look forward to you being there for the live. It was so good to have another conversation with you all and to give this video about my experience in Asia. If you haven't, do not forget to subscribe. We're so close to being at 800 subscribers. Y'all, this is incredible. I love communicating with you. I love that we can share about our experiences traveling. We can share our trials, we can share our tribulations, and we can really be in community about traveling. Don't forget to like this video as well. And I am looking forward to seeing you for our live next week on Friday. I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you then. Bye.